Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who are here sharing their expertise and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schock, co-founder of HLH Growth Solutions, where we help businesses grow through outside the box visibility and automation strategies. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. So excited to have you here today, and you're going to love our conversation. So you picked the best day to be here. So without further ado, and stay to the end because I have a special gift for you for being here and being new. So make sure you stay to the end and grab that gift. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome my guest today, Heather Roberts with RSG Sales. So welcome, Heather, to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, Heidi.
I'm excited to dive in. So can you start us off, Heather, and tell us a little bit about yourself, about RSG Sales, and your role within it?
Yeah, so my journey to being an entrepreneur was a little bit different than a lot of folks. I was a stay-at-home parent for 12 years. We did the corporate thing with my husband and moved like 5 times in the first 5 years we were married. It was just crisscross, and he rose up very quickly. However, we hit a point where the president who hired him got let go, and the new president wanted his own salesperson, his own, finance guy, his own this. So we made a decision that we were going to start a company. No idea what it was, like no earthly idea. And we put our house on the market and picked up the kids and moved back to North Carolina, where I'm from. And like fate, God, universe, whatever, helped us along the way. And it was a honest to God landline wrong number that started our company. There was a gentleman who somehow, to this day, we do not understand how he got our number. But he called on the landline on like a Monday morning, and Josh happened to answer the phone. And he's like, well, I'm not the person you're looking for, but I know how to do what you want. And this fellow owned a ready-to-assemble furniture company in Canada and wanted to sell eventually to Walmart stores, but knew he had to start with Walmart.com. And that is what became RSG Sales. So we help suppliers all over the world grow their e-commerce sales channel. We work with practically every retailer except Amazon, and that is on purpose.
Wow, that's an
Yeah.
amazing story. Thank you for sharing that with me,
Yeah.
with all of us. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
For lack of a
Yeah.
better word, that's a really cool story.
It's just a
And
little
how
a
that
little
happened.
different. Yeah, it's a little different. And so I kind of what's my role? My role has changed through the years. I went from all of a sudden not working to working full time. And with that, working with my spouse, and navigating that. But eventually found a rhythm where it actually works out really well. It's the thing that makes us good married people, or the thing that makes us good business partners. Like I know and respect what he is really good at it, and know that I can't do that, and he understands the same with me. So I have been the CEO of the company, and really I think until the last year. I've stepped back, and my husband likes to call me the chairman of the board. I don't, you know, anyway, I still go with co-founder. But I made a decision that I wanted to pursue some other things and other interests. So I worked myself out of a job and grew the team we have now, and set everything up with systems and, all of those back end things, and really put my husband up in a position to run the business day to day now. And so that's what he does. I only work a couple hours a week, 2 to 3 max. Usually it's about 2. I am in charge of like more of a visionary role, but also finances, and I'm still the face of the marketing. So I have a 1 hour meeting with my husband, and then like I said, I handle the finances side, and then I work on the marketing with our ads guy and our marketing team. So.
Amazing. So one thing that really stood out to me is that you've like you shared, you've intentionally worked yourself out of the day-to-day operations to focus on some other interests, and of your consulting business. So you've like literally you're working, like you said, 2 to 3 hours a week. What did that process look like? Can you share a little deeper into what that
Sure.
was and why was this such an important step for you?
Yeah, I think I can pinpoint that this really all started when COVID hit,
Mm.
because before that time, most of our business came from referrals or at trade shows. And that all went away overnight with COVID. And that forced us, and at the time, me, to figure out what were we going to do differently. And that's when we started our YouTube channel. And so to date, we've actually had 100 million views. Got that like in
Wow.
March of this year. But started with one horrible like couple-minute video that was how to sell to Wayfair, that just really took off, and that was the precipice for scaling for RSG sales. And so I think that really changed the whole trajectory and everything in the business and how we approached it. And so, by need, we had to put some better internal systems in place. We needed to expand our team, because within like 3 to 6 months, we had practically doubled our growth. And it also forced us to scale back on our offerings. So we only offered things that were, in a high profit margin. And so that eventually we got to the point that so that the day to day is handled by the team and it wasn't handled by me and it's not handled by Josh. Josh has a bigger, strategic role. And so I think that's the best way to describe it is the need of we have so many more clients. We need a much more effective system for onboarding. We need a more effective system for communicating. We need a new, more effective system for finances. We need, just everything. And it really had us take a good hard look at who was currently on the team, who was going to be able to stay on the team, and who didn't have the skill set to scale with us. And so we made some hard decisions and let go 4 of our full-time employees that were in our office, and decided to start outsourcing some things that could be done much more efficiently and at a much lower cost. And then we also ended up hiring full-time employees that were located all around the world. So we have team members in Vietnam and
Wow.
Philippines, China. We still have full-time employees in the US as well. But yeah, so to answer your question, it was really the things that we needed to do were we needed to bring down overhead, be much more efficient in our systems, and have a team with a much stronger skill set than what we had had.
So, Heather, many businesses say that they want freedom,
Mhm,
but they end up building businesses that depend entirely on them. And
mhm.
there's this phrase, if you can't go away for, or you can't leave your company for 14 days to go on vacation, then you don't have a business, you have a job, right?
Yep.
So what advice would you give entrepreneurs who want to create a company that can operate successfully without their constant involvement? So they're
Mhm.
creating that freedom as they're building.
Uh, the biggest thing is being able to let go and delegate. Because
Mm.
if you're not willing, so I actually have just released a book. It's called The Nurture Method, the real life guide to raising your business and your family. In my book, I use this analogy that says when you have a teenager, you need to learn to let go, give them freedom, delegate more of their decision making to them. And that's the same thing you need to do when you've scaled a business or want to not be so much the center of everything. You
Mm.
have to be in a position where you are willing to step back and be the actual CEO and not, the day-to-day manager. And that's the biggest and the hardest thing to do.
Well, I have teenagers, so it sounds like I need to get your book. And talking about your book, The Nurture Method, it focuses, as you said, raising a business
Mhm.
and a family simultaneously. So, what do you think traditional businesses advice gets wrong about entrepreneurship, especially for parents and maybe for women too, since you're
Yeah.
a female entrepreneur and you were a CEO? Can you talk more into that?
Yeah, I think basically everything. I think that we have been told that the system of being an entrepreneur needs to look a certain way. But I don't know about you, but I'm not a white middle-aged man.
Yeah.
And, I hate to be like that, but, I'm married to one and I love him, but he's always, he always had somebody else who was responsible for everything, right? And so that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think when we step back and we look at our businesses and we compare them, especially as parents, to the various stages of childhood. You have, a startup. That is a baby in a toddler, right? That's your
Mhm.
newborn and your toddler. And that infant and that toddler is going to require your full attention, for years. And like you're all in at that point. But then there's this great little thing that happens. If your business has been making money and you're being profitable and your toddler is growing up and goes to kindergarten, life gets a little easier when your kids are in school or in that school age, right? And you're like, all of a sudden, they don't depend on me for everything. They tie their own shoe. They can put their clothes on. They can go on play dates, all of those things. And so that in a business is where you get to evaluate as the founder to look at what things am I doing that I don't want to do anymore, that I don't need to be doing. And then that's where you hire someone, whether you hire someone to be a housekeeper or you hire someone to be an assistant or you hire, contract workers. You begin to take off your plate the things that allow you to focus on the ways that the business makes money. I like to say that um, I think women in particular, we get stuck in this mindset that we have to do it all. But when you're a founder, your time is the most important value. Like, you know, and I like to use easy numbers. So I always say, why are you doing a $20 task that's actually costing you $1,000? So we need to remember and learn to delegate those tasks that don't require us. And I think that starts when your business is it's profitable. You're not solely dependent on it. You can go on vacation, probably for a week, maybe not two, but you can go on vacation for a week and it's all going to be fine. And that, when you decide to start, if you decide to stay there, then you get even more comfortable and a better team. And you then get to the point where you can go on vacation for 2 weeks. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens more like when there is a fifth grader around, right?
Yeah.
And if you make a decision to scale, again, for me, when when we made the decisions that now we're going to really triple our number here, I still wanted to be at every single sporting event. I had parents that had health problems. I like built everybody around me that served what I needed, as
Mm.
opposed to let me be a martyr, let me, put myself into the ground trying to be everything for everybody. Instead, I was like, okay, no, I hired a personal assistant. I had, who took off so much from my plate. I made sure I had an EA in my business who took care of all of that off my plate. So I built the team that I needed and didn't happen overnight. But I finally also was able to not feel guilty about it because I got to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And then you're all by doing that, I'm guessing, is that you were able, when you were contributing into the business, it was very intentional
Yes.
and the needle moved faster because you
Yes.
weren't showing up exhausted and
Mm-mm.
flustered from all the other things that you're doing in all these different areas and then having to switch hats in an
Yep.
instant and move into something else. That can be sometimes that delays progress versus helping progress because it takes time to move from one task to the other task in order to switch that brain and go, okay, we're not working on that anymore. We're working on this.
Yeah. I'm also a
Yeah.
big believer in time blocking. Like I
Mm.
protect my time like it's a
It's
hundred
gold,
million
right?
dollars. It is,
Yeah.
like it is not. I'm almost fanatical about it in a way. So, but again, it's that I taught myself, the team, my children, my parents, my friends, kind of my husband, everybody in my universe of, if I have something on my calendar That's what I'm doing at that time, and I am not going to do anything else. If you don't like it, that's okay. I'm happy. That I can live with. You can be upset with me about that, but my time boundaries are non-negotiable.
I love that. I think that's so important. And that's one of the things that you hear from many successful entrepreneurs and business owners is that their time is very scheduled. And
Mhm.
if it's, and I used to say, if it's not on my calendar, it's not getting done. So
Right.
it needs to be on my calendar to get done. And my team used to know that if it's not on my calendar, then you need something from me. Just even if it's a 15-minute, just put it on my calendar and I'll make sure that
Yeah.
it gets done. Because if you
Yep.
haven't heard from me, if you requested something, I haven't given it to you within 24 hours, that means it's literally gone
Yep.
from my brain. So it needs to be go on that calendar. So I totally get it.
100%.
So, Heather, after the pandemic, you dramatically shifted how you generated leads and built
Mhm.
visibility with YouTube, becoming a major growth channel, which you shared. What lessons have you learned about content visibility and attracting the right clients?
Stay true to what you do. Stay on message. I make the same 30 to 35 videos over and over and over ad nauseum, but it is what I mean. There may be a slight tweak, but you know, it's for us, it's how do I, how to. And so knowing what your client needs to come to you for and answer that question. Now, there's also going to be 100 other things that they don't realize they're coming to us for, but it's the stay true to your core values of your business, what is your bread and butter of your business, and just stay on message over and over and over to the point that I actually literally say to our ads manager, "Do I have to do this again?" And he's like, "Yes." So, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to sound, ungrateful. I am totally grateful, but that's the secret. It's just stay on message.
Mm. I'm so glad that you said that because there are, and I work with different clients who do different things, and it's something. And I used to be a business strategy coach for women coaches and entrepreneurs, and now we have more of the done for you systems that we do on the
Mhm.
back end, and it's. I hear the same thing from everyone. I'm tired, like. I keep saying the same thing and I can't keep saying the thing. My audience will be bored. My audience will be bored. I've already talked about that. I'm like, but that's where you need to be known. You get to be known
Mhm.
for one thing. What is that one thing that you want to be known for? And then you drill down in that one thing. Yes, it comes easy to you. You're the expert in that space. And because that's another thing I hear. Oh, they already know how to do that. Everybody knows this. No, you're the expert because you know this. That doesn't
Right.
mean just because you know it doesn't mean everybody knows it. Most
Mhm.
people don't know that because they're not the expert
Exactly.
in that. They know what they're the expert in. So
Mhm.
you get to rinsing and repeating is so important. And the goal is we're constantly growing our audience and bringing in that new, for lack of a better word, new blood, right? We
Yeah.
want those new people coming in and we
Yeah.
want to make sure that we are shown as they are seeing us as the experts. So when that top of mind comes, because they may not need you right now in the moment, but when they
Mhm.
do need you, they're going to go back to, oh, yes, Heather. Heather's that person because that's all she talks about. She's
Yep.
that person. There's therapists out there. All they'll talk about is narcissism. Can they help people with other things? Absolutely. But they're the expert in that, right? There's people that are expert in widgets. They'll talk about just widgets or there's YouTube experts. All they talk about
Yeah.
is YouTube. Could they help you on other platforms? Probably,
Probably.
but they just talk about YouTube. So I think I love that you share that because we have not talked about that on this podcast, and I think that's an key piece because I people do get bored talking about
Yeah.
the same thing over and over again, and you need to understand, and it's really important. And kudos to you for knowing this early on, and just sticking with it and being open and honest about yeah. It sucks. Like talking about the
Mhm.
same thing over, like it's nauseous. Like I get nauseous
Yeah.
doing it. And it's what your audience needs, and it's why you've been successful because now you have become seen as that expert in your space. And if anybody's ever out there saying, "Oh, I need XYZ," people are like, "Go to Heather."
Yep.
Right? Go to
That's
RS2 sales
exactly.
because they
Yep.
are the cream of the crop. They know what they're doing and this is all they do. Can you do other things? Absolutely. And they get to find that out once they get to you through that
Yes.
one message.
That's it.
Uh,
That's it. That's spot
I
on.
Yeah, I love that. And when you do that too, you probably why you've elevated to 100 million views or whatever it is that you shared at this point is because you are talking into the same message and you're saying it, maybe tweaking it a little bit each time, or you're changing the title of that thumbnail or the image on the thumbnail. And again, that's all testing. I tell clients all the time, I'm like, we can post the same, people post literally the same content. All they'll change is the thumbnail. They'll change, or they'll change the message, or they'll change the hook to test
Yep.
those different things that work and not work. One message may have landed flat, but you change that hook and it changes the ball game. Now you have a lot of eyes on that same exact message or that same exact video. So yeah, this is like not a gold nugget for you listeners. This is like a gold bomb that she just dropped right here because it's really, really important. And I know it's a piece that many entrepreneurs and CEOs and founders struggle with, is feeling like they're talking about the same thing over and over and over again. But as I was saying, that will elevate you to YouTube. So when people search for that topic, guess who's going to show up? Heather. She's going to show up. So when you're talking about that one topic over and over and over again, and somebody hits that search in that keyword in the search bar, guess who's going to show up? You are. So that's what you're looking for. We're not looking to change the world in many different ways. You're looking to hone in on your one corner of the market in that one message and drill deep into it. Love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly.
So you've worked with major retailers like Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Best Buy. What are the biggest mistakes brands make when trying to grow their e-commerce presence beyond, say, Amazon?
They want to treat those same businesses like Amazon, and they're not the same. So I like to kind of put it in terms of like this. If you want to play basketball, you don't follow the rules of football. If you want to play soccer, you don't do what basketball does, right? And that's the biggest way I can explain it to somebody. It's that each individual retailer, yes, there are commonalities, but the ones that are truly successful will follow the advice of, now, look, Target's big thing is this. Do this and you'll have much more success. Home Depot's big thing is this. Follow the plan and it will work. So that's I really think that's the biggest thing, is that suppliers make the mistake of trying to treat every account like Amazon, and it's just not.
Yeah. Well, case in point is like, just kind of for reference, for those of you, like, obviously, if you're in business and you're listening to us, you're promoting on social because it's here and you need to. Not every platform's the same. What you do on Facebook, you're not doing on LinkedIn. What you're doing on LinkedIn, you're not doing on Instagram,
Yeah.
right? What you're doing on, say, LinkedIn, you're not doing on TikTok. So you have to really know your audience and you have to understand the platform and what's going to work for you. Follow those rules, learn the rules, know them, and it will work.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
And stay in stock. Stay in stock. That's the other thing.
That's important too. Yeah, it's important too. So Heather, AI is changing how businesses market, sell, and operate.
Yes.
So how are you using AI today, and where do you think business owners should be paying closer attention?
This is a great question. So we have transitioned to using AI that can take away basically tedious tasks that take a human a long time. And this is a silly example, but this is a perfect example. So in our industry, there's something called GS1 UPC codes. That is what is the gold standard and is required by every retailer except Amazon. And inevitably, we'll come across somebody, a supplier, who's trying to kind of slide by and not follow the rules, and they will use non-GS1 UPC codes. Now, why would they do that? It's because the GS1s are more expensive. It's just what it is. And what we have found is that we can use AI to be able to go through, a catalog that has 1,000 items, and they can, and the AI can now flag for us any that are not GS1. So that's the way we have found it, because AI isn't going to be able to take over our brain, but it can make things move more quickly and reduce mistakes.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about your growth and visibility. How can you share with us some ways, marketing wise, visibility wise? I know you got that phone call, right? Out of the blue, like that phone call, that fluke, that amazing moment. But beyond that, can you share with us what's worked with for you? I know YouTube has been one area that's really done well for you. Are there any in referrals you mentioned too? Are there any other areas that have worked for you visibility and marketing wise? And on the flip side of that, some things that you tried that maybe didn't give you the ROI or didn't work for you as
Yeah.
well as you had hoped?
So funnily and strangely enough, not fun, but strangely enough, it comes down to relationships. So we are now in a place that a retailer will come to us and say, listen, I have a dream list of suppliers I would like. Can you go get them for me? And so that didn't happen overnight. That has been, decades in the making, because the business is almost 20 years old. So it was that we respect the heck out of the retailers we work with. We understand how they work, and we're not going to put a potential supplier in front of them that doesn't align with that retailer's core values. And they understand that, they see how we work, they see how our team has worked, and that those relationships have become invaluable.
Mm,
So that's I think it's just staying true to relationships, because AI can't
right.
do that.
Can't do that. Yeah.
And then I have done some of the bright and shiny, like, trying to go all in on LinkedIn. You would think LinkedIn would be a really good platform for us, but it's not the same. It doesn't have the same searchability, so it's not as easy to answer the questions that people are asking. Now, they do use LinkedIn as a secondary reference point. What we know about our clients is they 90% of the time they find us on YouTube. They
Mm,
watch a YouTube video, they go and check us out on LinkedIn, then they go back to YouTube and they binge watch a
got
bunch of
it.
videos, and then they make the appointment.
Mm, okay. So they're going to YouTube to learn for their
Mhm,
search. Obviously, they're putting a keyword in the search. They're searching
mhm.
for something. They find you. Then they're going to LinkedIn just to make sure that you're
A
valid,
real person.
exist, you're a real person, you
Yep.
exist, and you have that credibility behind you. And then they're like, okay, they're a real company. Now let me go binge. And then, now they're like, once they've learned a little more, they're going deeper. They're like, okay, these are my people that I need to talk with. That, yeah.
Mhm.
So love that you shared that because it's really important that we're on multiple platforms. That being
Yeah.
said, because there's people out there that are like, I need to be everywhere, and they go and they spend all this time being everywhere, and that isn't so not true. You
No.
want to be where your people are. It's nice, but it's good to have a platform like LinkedIn as your backup. You're not getting 90% of your leads from there, but it's an important place for you to be adding value and talking about what you do, who you serve, and your company, so that people, when they do search you, you're somewhere else besides just YouTube. So when you're starting out, find that one platform that you're going to be viable for. YouTube is fantastic because it's the second largest. And now I don't even know if that I was been saying this for a few years, but I don't even know if this
It
is true anymore.
might be the
Hey,
largest search engine.
yeah, it was behind Google, but Google
Mhm.
owns it. But now with chat and Claude and all the AI agentic platforms out there, I don't even know if it's considered number two or number one. I don't know where it's at. But I know that agentic AI is becoming searchable for Google in
Mhm.
comparison to Google. But as
Yeah.
far as the how to's, the what to do, and all that, YouTube is the place to be. So you
Mhm.
definitely, if you are teaching a how to or you can share that information, YouTube is definitely where you want to be. And then have that platform as a backup that where your people are, right? If your people are on
Exactly.
Facebook, then be on Facebook. If your people are on Instagram, be on Instagram. If your people are on, LinkedIn, be on LinkedIn. But if you're a business, you need to be on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
You should be there just for credibility and viability and letting people know that you really exist and you're a true company.
And make
Because they
sure
are
you
going to be
also,
checking that.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No, go
also
ahead.
not just your personal profiles, make sure you have a company page.
Yeah.
It's just like all of the things that you can do to prove you're a real business and not something that's a fly by night
Yeah.
faker kind of thing.
And for the people that you work with, the businesses that you work with, I'm guessing and I could be wrong, but if you're trying to pitch Walmart.com or Amazon or any of these places that you want to be, you should have a LinkedIn business page and all of that to be showing your wares and what you're selling, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And again, it all depends on what you do and who your audience is and how you want to grow your business. And that's all strategy. But yeah, I love that you shared that you're on YouTube. That's your number one spot for people to find you. And then they go to LinkedIn just to verify for verification. And they dive deeper into YouTube. So you found your happy niche, you place of what
Yes.
works for you. And you also run ads, you were mentioning, correct?
Yes, we do.
Yep.
We
Okay.
run ads on YouTube.
Okay. But is there anything else you've done to grow over the years?
We've tried we've tried LinkedIn ads, we tried Facebook ads. We do also do some Google keyword ad search. That is part of it. But the things, yeah, I mean, I will say we didn't do TikTok, but but we did all of the other standard ones.
Yeah. So what do you think about AEO with AI coming in there was SEO or search engine optimization, and now we're moving into AEO where you're searchable and findable through AI, through like chat and Claude. Are you all looking into that? Is that something that is on your radar for next?
Yes, it is. And actually, our marketing team has even been looking at, and we're beta testing some advertising on those different search engines and seeing how that works. It's really, really, really new. So, as in the last kind of 6 weeks. And so it's one of these things like you can't be like the bird with your head in the sand. You have to be willing to test and see if something works and adjust accordingly. But in the same token, you don't want to walk away from what works. That's another a huge mistake that I see that entrepreneurs who are on the early stages of their journey, they're like, this is bright and shiny. I should go do this. I need to put everything in AI. I need to put everything in TikTok. I need to, and really it's yes, stay aware, stay in the loop, stay educated in your industry, and try new things and test and break it and see what happens. But don't lose sight along the way of what works.
Right. Absolutely. So what's next for RSG sales? If we could bring you back in a year, Heather, what's the big goal? What would success look like for you?
I can actually answer that. We have started a small team in China, and the goal for 12 months is to have an actual RSG sales office in Hong Kong, not just like using WeWorkspace, which is kind of what we're doing right now. But we're going to have a full office in Hong Kong. That is what we're headed towards. It's a great central location to be in that side of the world. It's easy for clients who are in Vietnam or, Thailand, Philippines, all of that to get there. And so that's what we're working towards right now.
Oh, how exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited.
We're excited to see how that unfolds for you. Yeah, it's exciting.
I think
So if I could give you a magic wand, my last question, and you could wave it over one challenge or issue right now that you're having and go poof and it disappears, what would that be and why?
I would, my husband and I would learn to speak Mandarin like overnight.
That's fantastic.
Because right now we're not Mandarin fluent, and that would
Working on it.
really make some things easier.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Well, I hope that happens for you. If I find that magic wand, I'll send it to you.
Please
So
do.
I'll
Please.
absolutely. So, Heather, can you share with us how people can connect with you, find you, learn more about RSG sales, and also grab your book, The Nurture Method?
Yeah. So you can go to our website, rsgsales.com, or find us on YouTube under RSG Sales. Those are two great ways to learn about us as an organization. And then you can get my book either at my personal website, which is heatherroberts.life, or go to Barnes and Noble and search The Nurture Method, the real life guide to raising your business and family.
I love it. So make sure you go check her out. Go check out RSG Sales. It's rsgsales.com, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And go check her out on YouTube. She's all over YouTube. You can go check out those videos right now. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. We say hello. That is her platform. You're already on YouTube. You're watching us. So go check her out over there, RSG Sales. And if you know of anybody that would benefit from hearing this conversation, learning more about RSG Sales and Heather, and also the Nurture Method book, please share this. This is how we support our guests. They are spending time out of their busy days to be with us and share with us what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, how they've grown and got to the stages that they are. And so we'd love to share this with as many people that would benefit from this conversation as possible. If you are listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, thank you. If you're so inclined and can leave a review, preferably 5 stars, we would love it. That helps the platform push this episode and this interview out to more people. So by you leaving a review, it shows them that you've enjoyed this conversation, and it will share Heather and RSG Sales out to more people, which is our goal for her and for them. So if you know of anybody that would benefit from this conversation, we'd also love for you to share this with them. It's a gift for you. I promised y'all a gift at the beginning. Heather shared what's worked for them as far as visibility and growth, and she's given you some really great insight into how they've grown the company over the past 20 years. If you are feeling like you've been throwing spaghetti at the wall and struggling with growing and getting yourself known out there and visible, then go ahead and download our Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint and grab it. The link is also in the show notes. And it's yours. It's free. Go download it and have some fun. Heather, before I let you go, thank you. This has been such a great conversation. Is there anything else you'd like to share or say that we didn't get to talk on or I didn't ask you today?
No, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and, to speak with you, but to also share your audience with me. I understand that that is a very big honor, and I so appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you and your time, and like I've learned a lot in this conversation, so I appreciate you sharing. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you go to rsgsales.com. Go connect with her on LinkedIn. Go watch all the YouTube videos. Go binge and have some fun. And Heather, thank you for your time. Thank you for your openness and sharing your journey with us. Thank you all for listening to us, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlights.